Chapter 1. You are listening at FameTV.info. Langyan Mountain Prison, one of the largest prison grounds in the Xia dynasty, is located in the south wasteland, adjacent to the barbarians. There are hundreds of mountains here, forming a mountain range that belongs to the category of Langyan Mountain Prison. The prison slaves in Langyan Mountain Prison have committed felonies or slaves from other races. After being driven here, they are almost hopeless. Surrounded by mountains, there are many trees and weeds, steep mountains and rocks, and there are not a few beasts. It is definitely not an ordinary prison. The Langyan Mountain Prison is rich in a kind of stone called red steel stone. The prison slaves at the lowest level here are responsible for mining and digging these red steel stones to supply the prison yard, which will then be handed over to the imperial court for refining utensils. In a corner of the mountain prison, a naked boy was quietly digging rocks with his head down. The boy was covered with scars, and the drenched blood was still seeping. It was obvious that he had just been left. He was disheveled and dirty. His hands and feet were handcuffed and locked. He looked very embarrassed, but his body was a bit stronger and taller than that of an ordinary teenager. His knife-cut face looked very durable and might not be particularly handsome, but it was not ordinary, especially his eyes with unyielding will. It seemed to contain endless energy. Even if he was subjected to inhuman persecution, he still stood up his back. It seemed that nothing could overwhelm him. Unfortunately, no matter how strong a person is, under the persecution of high pressure, he still seems unable. He stepped on a piece of gravel and almost fell down. This time, a long whip greeted him like a spirit snake. Papa, if someone else had been beaten, such a beating would have screamed loudly, but he clenched his teeth and didn't make a sound of pain, but the fine sweat on his cheeks and the dripping blood betrayed his mood. Smelly boy wants to pretend to be dead again. If you don't dig for me, I ll cripple you today so that you see the sun tomorrow, the jailer said very fiercely, and then kicked the boy several times. Sir, you see he s thin and hasn't adapted to the environment here for only a few days. Why don't you whip me? I ll take his blame for him, said a young man with a strange appearance not far away. The young man is a little old. His hair is curled up like a chicken nest. He looks very funny. He has a pair of ELF eyes, but his body is thin and there is a lot of distance from the scarred young man s body. Thin monkey, don't think you can show off your ability if you can fight a little. Some things don't reach your head, or you don't know how to write dead words. The jailer said disdainfully, and then said to the young man, dig a mine for me quickly. If you can finish the task, hey, don't blame me for my ruthlessness. When the jailer had finished, he turned and walked towards the others. The young man named Thin Monkey put down the stone in his hand, walked towards the boy and asked, brother, what s the matter? The boy raised his firm face, showed a row of white teeth and said with a light smile, I can die yet. Thank you for your concern. Brother, did you offend some big people? They actually did this to you. I see that you were the worst tossed in the whole prison. My old son was not as miserable as you when he first came in. The Thin Monkey s original name was Sundo, and there was nothing wrong with claiming to be Old Sunday. Maybe I am handsome. They envy me. If I turn over one day, I ll see how I kill them. The boy said with a look of narcissism and reluctance. After hearing this, the Thin Monkey couldn't help rolling his eyes and thought, it looks good, but it a slave, and it s hard to turn over. Who knows that the young man who has just been in prison for 3 days used to be a hereditary viscount of Daxia, hereditary viscount, who must have the rank of earl above his father s generation, can have such hereditary qualification status. The noble count family is also a rich family, but why did the young viscount fall here? All these are a series of tragedies caused by his refusal to marry the royal family, resulting in his imprisonment. the demotion of his parents and the forced retirement of his brother /s new number one position. For the sake of the two elders, the younger brother and the unfinished agreement, how could I die in this ghost place? I must get rid of this identity, leave here as soon as possible, and let those people return my Yang family justice. The young Yang Wu roared reluctantly with his teeth in his heart. Although the day was about to destroy the youth /s vitality and future, he still longed to break all these obstacles, break through the darkness and see the light again. Bang. At his feet, pieces of earth and rock were knocked away by him. I knew the boy pretended to be dead. The jailer nearby sneered. Another jailer beside him said, It /s true that you really want this boy /s life. Just find a reason to abuse him to death. Why do you let him breathe and don /t you think it /s inconvenient? What the leader meant was to make his life worse than his death. We /ll just follow orders. Anyway, he can /t turn over any storms, replied the first jailer. After a pause, he said, The weather is hot. Let /s go have a drink to quench our thirst. Yang Wu was digging a stone mine with a heavy step, supporting his body with a will, which made the thin monkeys nearby admire it. If this boy doesn't /t die, he can make friends, the thin monkey thought in his heart. At this time, Yang Wu felt that he had dug something out of the crowbar. A wisp of smoke suddenly appeared in his position, but it startled him. Fortunately, the smoke flashed away, and then a weak voice sounded, Woof, woof. Yang Wu was surprised to see a little black dog huddled in the soil, showing two smart eyes staring at him, and its plush and smooth fur was even black and shiny. A pair of small front teeth with sharp tips exposed, with two drooping ears, 4 feet retracted, and a little white hoof marks on the soles of his feet, like Ruayan smoking, it /s just like a newborn dog. It /s very cute. Yang Wu had not eaten for 3 days. Seeing such a little black dog was like seeing a plate of delicious roast meat. He grabbed the little black dog, wiped the saliva from the corners of his mouth and murmured, I can finally replenish my stomach this time. Wang Wang, the little black dog seemed to understand Yang Wu /s words, showing a pitiful appearance and barking, as if begging for mercy like Yang Wu Shin Kuden /t bear to sigh. Little guy, I haven't /t eaten for 3 days. If I don /t get something to eat, I ll hang here. Just sacrifice my ego and help me. Let me have a good meal. The little black dog counseled his front paws. After barking a few times, he didn't /t know where he made a piece and handed it to Yang Wu. Yang Wu didn't /t think so, but when he squinted, he found that it was a strange peach kernel. The peach core is as smooth as jade, with strange and numerous stripes. The core body has thousands of holes, like swallowing clouds and spitting smoke. It contains heaven and earth. At a glance, it is incomparable with ordinary peach cores. Yang Wu curiously held it in his hand. He just felt a warm feeling in the palm of his hand, just like holding a top-grade jade pendant, which makes people love it. Woof, woo, the little black dog barked a few times, and his eyes showed an extremely reluctant color. It also seemed that he was asking Yang Wu to eat the peach kernel instead of eating it. Yang Wu only thought that the little black dog was quite lovely and aura. Finally, he couldn't /t bear to say, well, for your sake of being so sensible and lovely, I won /t eat you, but I can take your filial peach kernel. Yang Wu put the little black dog down and put the peach stones away. Yang Wu continues to dig. He must dig out the red steel stone and turn it in as soon as possible before he can exchange it for food. He hopes to be lucky today. However, his physical strength was already overdrawn. He suddenly felt his abdomen warm. A great force began to flow into his body, making his state much better. He didn't /t think much at first, but after digging for a while, he realized that it might be the peach pit tied at his belt. Before he could think more, he finally dug up a small red steel stone near the location where he had just dug up the little black dog. Now I can finally exchange for a meal of food. Yang Wuru said as if he had won the treasure. However, when he just wanted to pick up the red steel stone, he was robbed by another person one step in advance. I'm so lucky. I can pick up a red steel stone just after I walk out. It's good, the stone robber said complacently. Yang Wu on one side showed a fierce light in an instant. Listen to the full novel at FameTV.info, direct link in the description.